Hi, I'm Abby Frias-Tico, and I'm the Gallery Director for Galerie Stephanie. Before we begin our walkthrough for this year's edition of Art Fair Philippines, I'd like to give you a brief introduction of our gallery and our history as well. Founded in 2007, the gallery initially focused on Filipino modernists, both young and established. Then in 2015, we shifted our focus on contemporary art and began developing our international program. We provided an artist residency and invited foreign artists for solo and group exhibitions. Our mission was really to open the door for multicultural collaborations and to bring something fresh to the local art scene. As of this year, we have added more international artists in our roster, and we have also linked our local artists to the global art market through art fairs and gallery partnerships. For this year's edition, we are presenting two exhibitions. Population of Phantoms by Noor Bahjat and Lyndon Maglalang, and Synthesis of Affinities, a group exhibition featuring 13 international and local artists.
Population of Phantoms is a reflective conversation between the two artists. At the same time, they look into the immediate future, a renewal of the way we relate and associate with all the things around us and the reality of fostering new ways of life. These undertakings will be presented in abstract portraits, landscapes, and other illustrations. Noor Bahjat, a Syrian artist based in the United Arab Emirates, presents expressionistic self-portraits and sketches for this exhibition. Narratives representing symbols and allegories that highlight the human form while entrenched in everyday life. The portrayals in her canvas remain expressionless as the artist illustrates herself with her thoughts and observations of the world. Noor depicts the development of life by tracing back its origin and then resituates humanity at the center of things. Depicting human life and its relations through somber forms, Lyndon Maglalang's serene paintings articulate the necessary interlude amid the chaos and disorder we experience. In his body of works, Lyndon scrapes off paint from old palettes, a process that is akin to collage making in introducing images where man is at the center of the world and vice versa. Here, the artist offers profound introspections on his thoughts and contemplations of the previous years and the future that we are about to confront. This tandem piece summarizes the dichotomy of associations as narrated by Lyndon and Noor, that while Lyndon's pick and shovel speak of beginnings, Noor's golden roses depicts the abundance of life it was initially given.
For the gallery's second exhibition, we look into the linked affinities of an individual with the self and the world beyond. Consisting of 13 artists from different generations and working in various styles and formats, Synthesis of Affinities arranges an ensemble where identities are portrayed using different approaches in art and image making. With immense attention to detail, Eman Akasha's artistic practice rests on dissecting and reconfiguring organisms. Here, he explores organic shapes and its affinities, recasting them outside their natural habitats, a reflection of society's present condition. Through his paintings, Renz Baluyot explores socio-political narratives that center on urban decay. Studies on how much of disintegration, physical or otherwise, in urban cities are actual effects of imposed oppressive political and economic power. In portraying these issues, he examines the people's reception to these subtle but punitive atrocities. Experimenting with figures, patterns, and textures, Manila-based artist Katrina Cuenca continuously rediscovers and evolves her craft. The pieces presented here flesh out the artist's psyche, transformed and evolved into arrangements of flow and fold. The result is a melding of figuration and abstraction at its most spontaneous and celebratory. Initially working as a sculptor, Genevieve Lazaro's pieces often feature personified foliage in absurd situations and in various domestic settings. As a painter, Genevieve recognizes the monotony of living. She then disrupts the everyday tedium of life by inserting surreal elements into the picture. At the center of Eileen Llanuza's paintings are women and their unabashed femininity. Depicting both tenderness and strength in one picture is what makes her one of the most sought-after Filipino contemporary artists today. Pairing vivid colors against dynamic landscapes, Korean-born and raised Hae-ryun attempts to transcend the boundaries of consciousness and unconsciousness, and of space and time. Over the course of her decade-long artistic practice, Hae-ryun has managed to create rich tapestries, using the dynamic nature of wind as her primal force. For the last 3 decades, Ramon Orlina has been transfiguring glass into art. He was the first to carve figures out of blocks of glass using the cold method, cutting, grinding, and polishing his work with improvised tools and instruments, a feat at that time yet unreplicated even in highly industrialized countries. Ramon Orlina has been conferred 2 prestigious ASEAN Awards in the field of visual arts, as well as the Outstanding Filipino Award for having led a life of excellence in the field of arts and having contributed immensely to public welfare and national development. Born and raised in Bologna, Italy, Nunzio Paci paints with the eye of a doctor and the hands of a painter. Painting in the tradition of Baroque and Renaissance, Nunzio's works are faithful to life, from anatomy to colors, and meticulously composed. His works depicting flora and fauna coalescing and unraveling easily come across as dissections as well, cutting open and exposing the flesh for mutation. This artistic practice enables Paci to parse contemporary scientific and ecological issues. Gabby Prado enlivens the canvas through sparse yet expressive brushwork and vibrant palette. Both a dancer and an artist, Prado translates movement into visual elements, creating dynamic abstract gestural paintings. Apart from painting rhythmically, Prado is capable of interpreting sounds into color, having been born with a form of synesthesia where oral stimuli could register as certain colors. Complete with the dreamlike environment and wide-eyed characters, Mark Santos, or known by his moniker Mr. S, is not only technically skilled, but also gifted with the vision to construct imaginary, bordering on surreal scenes. His characters can often be found on an adventure, accompanied by larger-than-life creatures. Through marrying expressionist and realist techniques, Vincent De Pio gives his interpretation of Japanese motifs a unique personal vision. More than being fascinated by Japan's rich pop culture, he is also fascinated at the image of the past and the present, placing geishas and warriors in movie-like contemporary settings. It is evident that pop culture and mass media has affected the subjects and concepts of Raybert Ramos's works. However, despite the pop surrealist ambiance, Raybert's craft is no less classical and reality-driven in execution. Capturing the essence of being of his subjects, Raybert accentuates them with his creative philosophies. Formally trained as an architect, Jo-Mike Tejido is adept at manipulating the pictorial plane through abstraction, using geometric shapes and rhythmically alternating between different vibrant colors and textures. Tejido creates imaginary worlds that appear alive, as though they are sticking out of the canvas.